South Africans, did you know that government will give you a housing subsidy of up to 169,000 rand towards the purchase of your first home? Now, I am surprised that many people don't know about this. So, if you're a government employee, you have a double gift because one is if you apply for the housing allowance, that GEHS, then you will get that allowance. And if you're a first time homeowner, you will also get the once off housing subsidy that government gives to all South Africans if you qualify. Now, who won't take advantage of this money that government is giving you? So today I want to speak about the government subsidy that government gives all South Africans, and even if you are a permanent resident in South Africa, and that housing subsidy is called First Home Finance. It used to be called FLISP, and I remember making a TikTok video where I said, what the flip is FLISP? So they have rebranded, they've changed the name. So what you knew as FLISP before, or if you're doing your research and you still get articles writing about FLISP, just know that FLISP has been rebranded. It has been given a new name, First Home Finance. So you still get the same benefits. So that is what we are going to talk about today. I'm Sharon, and currently I'm busy with a series on housing, affordable housing, and I'm also wanting to make you aware of money or finance that you can get from government, whether you're a government employee or just an ordinary South African citizen. Remember, government makes this money available so that you can purchase your first home. Now, the first home finance you can only use if you want to build a home, a house, okay? So who qualifies for the first home finance? And this is what you need to pay attention to, because every single South African qualifies for the first home finance subsidy, a once-off lump sum that government will give you if you are a first-time homeowner. And these are the qualifying criteria. One is you must be a South African citizen, so you therefore need the barcoded ID, or you may be a permanent resident here in South Africa, but then you must have the relevant permit to indicate that you do have permanent residency. You must be over the age of 18. You must have a dependent, and your dependent may be a spouse, a child, your own child, or a child you had adopted or fostered, or it could even be a parent who is financially dependent on you. Depending on the dependent, you need the relevant documentation as evidence to prove that that person is financially dependent on you. So let's say you're married, therefore there must be a marriage certificate to prove that your husband or wife is your dependent. Or you must, in your parents' case, have an affidavit to say that the person is your parent, and then of course you can have their birth certificate or ID document to support that evidence. If you have adopted a child, or you are fostering a child, or you're looking after a child, then you need to provide that documentation to prove that you are the person who is caring for that particular child. Okay, so you must just have the documentation, affidavits, and of course other evidence like a marriage certificate, a birth certificate, or a permit in the case of you being a permanent resident in South Africa. Now, the other important criteria is that you should not have owned a home before. Now, bear in mind, if you have benefited from the government subsidies, for example, you owned an RDP home, then you do not qualify for the first home finance, right? So you may have been married, you are now divorced, but the fact is you owned a home before with your previous spouse. In that case, you're not the first time home owner or buyer, and therefore you cannot qualify for the housing subsidy. Okay? It's a once-off lump sum that government pays only to those who are first-time homeowners. You may also find a situation where you may have inherited a home. In that case, you're also not a first time home buyer or owner because the house that is currently in your name shows that you already own a property and therefore you cannot qualify. Okay? I know there was a case where somebody asked me, what happens if my parents have decided that I must take over their home? So you purchase the home from your parents. Now, it may be convenient for your parents to do that because there may be financial considerations that made them make that decision. The point is, as soon as you become the homeowner of your parents' previous home, you do no longer qualify for the first home finance. So just bear that in mind. It's for the very first home owner or the home buyer. You should not have had any other property listed in your name. Okay, let's talk about the income that you need to earn to qualify for the first home subsidy. First of all, let's talk about your salary. The salary that is being referred to here is your gross salary. Your gross salary is that which is reflected on your payslip before deductions are made. Let's say, for example, you have a gross salary of 20,000 Rand. Now, you have deductions for medical aid, you have deductions perhaps for tax and for savings. And then after all those deductions are made, you will then see your net salary reflected. Now, to qualify for the first home subsidy, they will take into account your gross salary, not your net salary. In other words, the salary before deductions are made. So if you earn 22,000 Rand, 22,500 Rand, you automatically don't qualify because you are over the threshold, right? The maximum income that will make you qualify for the first home subsidy is 22,000 Rand. Regardless of the deductions, you may be earning 22,000 Rand, 500 Rand, but after tax, after your medical aid, after your savings and all those deductions have been taken off, then you may land up with a salary, a net salary of 15,000. But still, that won't make you qualify because what is taken into account is your gross salary. So if you look at the table that I am going to show a screenshot of in this video, you will see that if you earn a salary, combined salary with your spouse or whatever other income you get into your family, and it's 3,500 Rand, you can get up to 169,000 Rand as a subsidy, as a once-off lump sum that government will give you if you want to purchase your first home, right? And then it's a sliding scale because if, let's say, you earn as a gross salary 22,000, that is the upper limit, you will still get a subsidy, but it will be smaller. It will be about, say, 38,000 Rand, but still you will be getting something. And 38,000 Rand is a lot of money. It can help you pay towards your deposit or pay legal fees or whatever you can use that money for, right? Okay, now that you know that you qualify because you earn between 3,500 and 22,000 Rand. So what are the next steps? Before you can apply for the first home finance, you need to go to a bank or a home loan institution and you have to determine or you have to go and ask them to calculate what home loan amount you qualify for. Then once you know what home loan amount you qualify for, you need to ask them to put that on paper so that you can present that evidence to the first home finance department. Okay? Now let's say they calculate that you can qualify for a home loan of 300,000 Rand. Then it means that if you want to look to purchase a house and you want that house, that home loan to be approved, then you need to buy a house that costs no more than 300,000 Rand. because you have been pre-approved for a home loan of 300,000 rand. So there you have your home loan pre-approved. Now you can start looking for your house. Now, if you are looking for a house worth 300,000 rand, you will then look at all the properties available, wherever they are, and then when you find a house that is within your price range, within your 300,000 rand price range, you will then go and sign an offer to purchase with that agent who is selling the house. And once you have an offer to purchase, it means that the home seller, via the agent, has agreed that the house will be sold to you at a cost of 300,000 rand. Then you can take your offer to purchase to the bank, and the bank will go out and do inspection of the property. And if they feel the house is worth 300,000 rand, they will then approve your home loan. Once your home loan is approved, you will then send that documentation to the First Home Finance Office with all the other documentation that we have mentioned. And then, if everything is in order, the First Home Finance Department will then pay your subsidy that you qualify for into your home loan where you have taken out that specific home loan. Hopefully, this will help you and bring you closer to your house, because it is government's intention that everybody should become a homeowner. Let us know if this information has helped, or if there's any other information that you need. And then if you really like what we've spoken about, then why not subscribe to the channel, and why not give me more advice so that I can help you with other things that are important to you and that you may not know about. So until next time, see you.